Well, let's get to our back
Yeah.
our back door, our yard, our hood, and let's talk about what's going on in L.A. Johnny's been doing some great work over
Yes.
there. We kind of followed this system from the get-go. We followed the primaries. So, Johnny, take it away.
So I had just posted my Medium article.
Ooh.
I wrote a Medium article. It
Nice.
says, lack of transparency in LA elections, the 1% manual tally, and white vans. If you've been on my Twitter, you've seen a bunch of these tweets coming off. And basically, you can go to the Medium article. I'll put it in the chat, and you can read
Please
it.
do.
But basically, for those who don't know, the LARCC, which is the Los Angeles County Registrar Recorder Office, is required to perform a 1% manual tally, and according to California Election Code 15360. And then to broadly outline it, it just consists of staff hand counting ballots from a few batches, and they compare that manual tally from their hand counted tally to the machine generated tally. Now, I went on the 6th, and then I also went on the 7th. On the 7th is when Maria and Angelica were there. They were actually there on the 6th as well. But again, it was delayed. It was supposed to happen on the 5th, this 1% manual tally. They put out a press release that said it was going to happen on the 5th, no later than the 6th. But then and here we are on the 7th at 8 a.m., and it still hadn't happened. So you can watch this. I mean, we can...
Here with Angelica Duenas, who is the
Angelica
candidate for
Duenas.
Congress in District
29. That's right. We were here yesterday. We were here to witness the 1% manual tally of the vote by mail. Actually, is what we were hoping to catch yesterday. They let us know that they were not ready, that the tally sheets were not ready to go, and that more than likely it was going to start today. And then after asking questions, if they were sure it wasn't going to start any earlier than that, they did let us know that it might be starting yesterday afternoon, in which a couple of folks came back to check in on that. And at 2 o'clock yesterday, and shortly after that, they were informed that, in fact, it was not going to be happening yesterday after all, that it was going to be broken up into about 3 days. So today, tomorrow, and Monday. Today and tomorrow, we'll be able to witness the tally for the in-person voting, and then on Monday, vote by mail.
We also have Maria Estrada here, so I'm going to get her opinion because she just went up there and then came back down and said that...
They weren't ready yet. They didn't have the tally sheets out yet, and they weren't ready to start.
All right, so I'm here with Maria Estrada, who was running for state assembly in District
63.
So Maria was the first one to go. What happened?
So there's actually 3 rooms. 2 of the rooms are not ready yet, and the room that we went into actually, they're actually just attaching the precinct sheets together, and they have like stacks of them, so they're not going to be ready for a little while. This was actually supposed to occur yesterday, so I'm not sure why they're still not ready, but they're not going to be ready for a little bit, and they're only allowing one person in for 30 minutes at a time max.
So that's very strange. We've seen that it's been yesterday morning they were supposed to be ready, and then they said 2 p.m., and then they weren't ready. I was here for that. And then now we're here at 8 a.m. in the morning, and they're still not ready. So what does that tell you?
Well, I could tell you that I don't believe that they're accustomed to people actually watching this. They're not used to actually it being overseen by the public, and they usually do things willy-nilly. So I think now that they know that we're watching, they're trying to be more careful and go through the process properly.
Interesting. So did they give you a time when they would be ready or no?
No, and they really didn't know.
Well, typical Democratic Party here in California. We know this.
But we don't know if the registrar is Democratic or not. I would assume. I don't know.
I mean, well, with the people who are in power, Alex Padilla, Dean
Alex
Logan.
Padilla,
and
who is
Dean,
Secretary of State, who certifies
Yeah.
the elections and certifies the election systems.
Openly
He's Democratic.
Joe Biden openly supported
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton.
And
Yep.
is in full support of Dean Logan.
Yep. Can I say something too here, ladies and gentlemen? This is the important part, Johnny. I'm glad you're staying on top of this, like a stink on shit, because this is important, because this is the thing we started crying about. If they can fix the election for Joe Biden against Donald Trump, just think about every single progressive below them that is trying to fight to get on the ballot. This is what it's all about. This is why we started fighting for election integrity. It was the Tim Canova situation, not just Bernie in the primary, but all these other people like Maria Estrada, Angelica Duenas,
Yep.
Even the Republicans that are now kind of coming to the game, and Joe Collins and James Bradley, who are running against Ted Lieu, and Maxine Waters are running against the establishment. They're populist-minded people, even on the right. You know what I'm saying? We need to have fair elections. If they can cheat everybody above, and you allow it, you're giving them a permission slip, ladies and gentlemen. We have to fight for elections across the board, because if we fight for elections across the board in our republic, we will get the democratic representation that we put in there. If we don't get the democratic representation that the populists want, we'll never get anything. We'll never get a goddamn thing. It's no wonder that Medicare for all might be 70% of the people want it, but we don't have it. It might be that 65, 70% of the people want to fight for some type of climate control, but we don't have it. You know, we're still allowed to frack like crazy what's going on. But if we don't fix our elections, nothing is possible. We'll still just be stuck in the elites' decisions, and they'll maintain control on the lower level as well.
So just to continue on with the story that I was doing here, it was they told us that they were setting up and didn't give a time to when they would be ready. So I was there and I just interviewed them. So then I asked if I can go upstairs to watch them set up, and so while I was waiting for them to get the head election official Elva R. Gomez, I was waiting outside, and a white van just rolled up to the front of the LARCC office. And
white vans.
I distinctly heard one of the two drivers. He came up, he walked up. I'm just waiting outside there, like right where I'm filming. Like that's exactly on the steps, like outside of the door. And he says, I overheard him say, clearly, we're here to pick up some ballots for Pomona. And so I asked here on Twitter, do you have an official statement on what this van is transporting to the VBM processing facility? I've emailed them questions. I've called Mike Sanchez. I've called Jeff Klein. I've reached out. I put down the written comment in the office, so no one can tell me that I didn't try communicating with them. I tried. It's been a few days already, and this is from the 7th, and
you want to play it?
I've been trying to. Yeah. So this is the white van that just rolled.
Today is November 7th, 2020, and we are at the LARCC Norwalk office. They said they were picking up ballots for Pomona, whatever that means. So that's interesting. I clearly heard one of the drivers come up to the front office and say that he's here to pick up ballots for Pomona. Now, the only ballots that go to Pomona are vote by mail ballots. So that's why in Pomona, that's where the vote by mail processing center is located. So I decided to drive over to Pomona. I'm actually inside the facility, seeing this van pull in. This video was actually given to me by an anonymous source, and we can verify there with the license plate that's the same van, and they are opening up the back. And I want y'all to remember one thing, is that the driver said that they were there to pick up ballots for Pomona. And so now they're pulling out these white boxes. And so you can see them right here. Those are the boxes, white boxes that typically holds ballots. And now we're not sure if these are actually ballots, but the question remains is that I've had multiple officials tell me that the only ballots going to the Norwalk office are provisional ballots. And if there are any ballots leaving the Norwalk office, they'd be going to Downey, not to Pomona. So I didn't understand why this van went from Norwalk to Pomona. Why did the van go to Norwalk and then go to Pomona? That is the question. And I've contacted officials and I've not heard a response back about this. So I've decided to release the video and see if they will respond to it. The driver said they were ballots. We don't know if they are ballots. They're in the same ballot boxes that all the ballots go through. So really we just want answers to these questions. And, I will update this if I do get any.
Playing games, Johnny.
If I do get any answers, but basically it's not transparent at all. And like I walked in there, and I was in the facility. This is how I got that shot inside. Mm-hmm. I walk in there, and the supervisor there at the time was just kind of like he wasn't happy to see me there.
Yeah. Same dude?
Just showed up. Yeah.
Same dude.
Yeah. And I tried to ask him questions about everything going on. Just kind of broad questions to kind of not give anything away. But he didn't want to be on camera, so I didn't write the questions down and the answers down. But it wasn't anything that was relevant to what what I was seeing here. So he denied that they were getting any ballots that day. You know what I'm saying? So
He denied it?
pretty sure he denied it. I'm just,
Glory Jones says Johnny's low voice and intense dark music really adds to the atmosphere. But I mean, listen, wait 1 second, Johnny. We went to this facility. This is a facility where ballots came into, were processed with the AI machines that Fiorella talked about, the story of Whitney Webb, which it didn't look like there was any scrutiny whatsoever, and they leave this facility. So why in the world are ballots going from where they're supposed to go to back to the... this is very, very questioning.
the question is that the only ballots that go to Norwalk, which is where this van came from, are like provisional ballots.
Yes.
And I asked him, I've asked multiple officials, do any other ballots come to Norwalk? No.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So then what's going from Norwalk to the
Pomona.
vote by mail facility?
Yeah.
Are they sending over vote by mail ballots? Which vote by mail ballots are they sending? How did these vote by mail ballots get received? And where are they from?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's questions. I mean, that's the thing. If there's no transparency, they can do whatever they want. You better believe they're fooling around and keeping their California establishment goons in place while they screw out progressive candidates that have a chance to win. You better believe they'll be tinkering it because that's what they do. When you don't have any eyes on you and you can do what the hell you want, you can get whatever results for an election they can give you. It's just ridiculous.
Well, that's why I've been going every day and putting eyes on everything. You know what I'm saying? Showing up and everything like that. So for those unfamiliar, that's where the vote by mail operation is happening, located. The video of myself and Pasta, you can click there in the article. I immediately thought it was strange that they were picking up ballots because in the March 3rd primary, Pasta, we found out that the vote by mail ballots are not sent directly to Norwalk.
Exactly.
They're sent to an ambiguous P.O. box and then delivered. We don't know how it's delivered to wherever the vote by mail processing is taking place.
Yep.
So in the primaries, the vote by mail processing was located in the Norwalk office. I had that confirmed by Jeff, I believe, and is now located in Pomona for space / COVID reasons.
COVID reasons.
Yeah.
Yep. This is how they use it, COVID, to hide their shit.
Remember that, Johnny, when we called them like, wait a second, it's not going right to the Norwalk facility? And then we started saying, wait, do you guys print the ballots from the Norwalk facility? Wait, you're using we were just starting to go down the rabbit hole, question after question, showing up in front of these guys' faces. Hey, I know you're going to, like the little, when you questioned them at Howard's house for that whole thing, and that's where we questioned the open source, we questioned the whole, voting centers. Like, we've been on top of this stuff. Like I said, we're election integrity activists. We follow this stuff. We study this stuff, and everything that Johnny's laying out for you right now, I mean, you can't get this information anywhere. Are the mainstream media on this, Johnny?
No.
All right, so yeah, my bad. Did you see some MSNBC? Do you guys bumping each other to get the better shot?
Oh, these mainstream media platforms that have millions of dollars and the resources galore. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so that video, I went over there after I went up. So I was let into the 1% manual tally room to see their setup because they weren't doing it yet, right? So they would start the manual tally once they were done preparing these manual tally sheets. They're like, I wish I could take a picture of it, but I wasn't allowed to take pictures. Basically, it's just like a long sheet, and it tells you it has the races on there and it has little boxes and people tally it off. The two people to a table, and then a third person reads out whatever the answer was. So I was told by Gomez that they probably wouldn't be ready to perform the 1% manual tally until Monday. That's what she told me that day. I later found out that the 1% manual tally started that same day after I had left.
Of course.
But she was telling me Monday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they didn't want you in there.
I heard him say that.
Yeah.
You're doing the count now? I was like, oh, shit. Like, I thought you were going to go running out of the room in your pajamas on.
See, guys, if they had nothing to hide, they wouldn't be fighting progressives so hard and journalists so hard in trying to keep this transparency out. Like, hello, this is happening. If this is happening in California, which is one of the most powerful states, fifth largest economy, most supposedly progressive, why would you think that it's not happening at a national level?
Yeah. And they know who Johnny is. They know who we are. They know they see us in our sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially Johnny. They see Johnny's face. They're like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're going to say, hey, we're going to do it on Monday. And as soon as he leaves, start that shit now. He's not here. He can't, like, they know the independent media that's on them right now.
Yep.
We've been freaking
it's
trolling
weird.
these
it's
guys.
Weird that happened. It's really weird
It's not weird at all. It's not weird at all. As
Like-
soon as you leave, then they start the process.
If you look at it from like if you have faith in the election system, then why would they start it on the same day that I left?
Yeah.
Angelica notified me that she was let into to watch the 1% manual tally at 11:15 on November 7th, and they had already begun the process before that time.
Yeah.
So after asking a few questions, so I was still up there. I asked a few questions. I asked to see the other 2 rooms. So there's 3 rooms in this 5th floor. And these two other rooms had just 12 staff each, just sitting and waiting. They were literally just sitting on their phones and waiting. And I asked Gomez why they weren't just sitting and organizing sheets like the first room. She said that yesterday they had problems with the printer, and they were not able to print out the sheets for them to work on. I also asked if they were permanent staff, and I was notified that they were temporary employees.
Yeah, all of them are.
So I have a little comment here. I'm like, why is the LARCC using public money to hire employees to sit at standby for a state-mandated certification process that had been delayed several times before that day? Like, these are valid questions, are they not?
Absolutely.
Are these, like,
Absolutely.
Like, am I crazy now?
No, we were asking all these the questions too. Like, are these temporary employees? What's going on? What are you wasting the money?
They're all temporary
Wow.
for a reason.
By the way, fam, Gloria Jones put a super chat up, and it says for Johnny Streets, kicking ass and doing the dirty work while all these punk asses and the alleged hashtag, not hashtag, but quotes, indie media want to pose like they've put in the work. They haven't,
Yeah.
Right. Not mentioning it.
Not mentioning it.
Sorry.
After the tour of the 1% mail tally rooms, I was again notified that it would probably occur. It wouldn't occur that day. It would occur Monday was the best bet. And I asked about the next day, which was Sunday, the 8th, and I was told, yeah, you can try on Sunday. So as I was being escorted out the rooms, I saw the white van being loaded up, and I asked Gomez if she knew anything about those white vans, to which she shook her head no, and said sometimes they pick up and transfer office materials. So
Staplers, Post-its, pencils.
That's the thing too. They play stupid all
Yeah.
the time. Remember, we asked them, dude,
Yeah.
are these employees part-time here? Is there a route? Did they sign something? Well, we just know, they can go stop and have
don't
Carl's
know.
Jr. and smoke a blunt when they leave with ballots, which is the most sacred thing. It's like they play dumb all the
Or
time.
they just don't tell you. They're like, we have
Or
to, this is
they don't tell you,
confidential.
or they're like, email us, and then
Yeah,
and
it's
they
been a
never
few
get
days,
back
and
to
I
you.
still haven't heard
That was
anything back.
Jeff Klein's famous words. I don't know the answer to that. Let me give you my card and get back to you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never do it.
Got anything else?
Yeah. I left Norwalk, went to go to the Pomona facility to see if I could catch up. You saw that video.
Mm-hmm.
When I arrived there, I was checking with staff. I already told all this. I asked them if they were still processing vote-by-mail ballots, which he said we're only doing a couple operations to get these last vote-by-mail ballots out, which was weird because supposedly this is running until at least the 20th, which is 17 days after November. It could possibly run depending on if there are more vote-by-mail ballots, right?
Yep.
So I don't know. I have to go back there at some point.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yeah.
They extended the time, Johnny, in your opinion, to not to cheat for Biden, but to cheat for who? Or to lean on who? Why would they want extra days? Why would the legislation give us 17 extra friggin' days to do this? What are they doing in the extra 17 days? I mean, I'm trying to understand their motive on this one.
So I guess the trust into the election process point of view would tell you that, there was a lot of more vote-by-mail ballots, so we need time to process that, right? But what the kind of asking more questions, edgy opinion would probably say is that maybe they're trying to take some votes away from local candidates, progressive candidates like Angelica Duenas, Maria Estrada,
or stuff the ballot box for the ones they want to beat them. Maybe
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So okay, so a little bit more. I just went there for a little bit. I just got a little overview shot, and then they had a little press release that kind of explains some of the answers, like the 17 days after. There was a whole scandal with the drop boxes. There was a viral video that Trump retweeted about the LA County drop boxes, and I'm not saying anything about that. I just have transparency in our elections is something that should be commonplace and information easily accessible, and if it is not, it should be demanded by the people to ensure our democracy is still functioning as was set out by our founding fathers. I went back the next day at 8 a.m., and Elva Gomez was again the staffer who I was greeted with and allowed me into the 1% manual tally room. So after 3 days of attempts, I would finally be able to see the 1% manual tally process in action. And here's a brief summary of how it goes. Manual tally sheets are organized from a big printout pile of the sheets. There are 3 workers at a table. One reads out the ballot. The other 2 mark on their respective tally sheets. They check their numbers with the machine-generated tally report. They repeat this process until the ballot box is done. At the end, we are notified how off the machine-generated tally was from the manual tally. And that sounds great, except the machine-generated tally report was not ready that day when they started.
Yeah, ridiculous.
The next day. So here, Angelica Duenas verified to me that she was escorted to see the 1% manual tally on November 8th, and Gomez confirmed that the machine-generated tally report was not ready.
So what they're saying is that the computer-generated results may or may not be processed yet. So they have 12 batches that they're manually tallying and comparing.
The batches are the boxes, right? It's a white box.
Are the boxes, and what they're saying is that these batches may not be. The computer part of it, the generating part of it may not be processed yet. So my question is like, well, what are you comparing to?
Yeah.
What are you comparing? You're just counting votes manually, but then what? You know what I mean? These need to be compared to something, because at this point, what I'm trying to explain to them is like this leaves the door open for election tampering, where they can just say that the computer said the same thing. So unless you have it printed and it's sitting somewhere.
Okay, so that's interesting. I didn't know that. So you're saying the tally report is not printed out yet. They're having issues printing it out?
They're saying is what Letitia and Alba confirmed is that the computer generating results may or may not be done. So they're saying that this tallying process happens in Downey, and that information is not here. They don't have access to that information, and so they can't tell us what even the computer-generated results of these different batches are, because they don't have it.
So, like, what the fuck? What? Okay. So do you understand? So maybe so people don't understand. So they can do the whole manual tally. They can wait until it's completely done, and then they can put whatever numbers on the computer generated one. And we have no idea, because we have no idea who prints it / where it comes from / when it's already done. You know what I'm saying?
In theory, yes. That's what I'm trying to let them know, is that what's happening here is that you're leaving the door open for election tampering, because if you don't have the results already printed and sitting somewhere, what you can claim is that the manual tally matched the computer-generated tally look, and then you just...
Yeah, well, that's what happened. This is the thing that Ray Lutz pointed out. Ray Lutz is a guy who has a system that kind of counts as the pictures of the ballots. You know what I'm saying? But what he was talking about last time, he made us think about this, is that they're supposed to produce. This is the computer numbers for the 1% batch we're going to give you. So you got the computer numbers up. Now this is what it is. Then you do the count and you say, does it match up? What they're trying to do is say, okay, you guys do the count first, and then we'll match up with the computer after. What that is a bunch of malarkey, because now they say, all right, this is your count. They can just go into the computer, pull out any numbers, and say, oh yeah, it matches up. They're really trying to pull some crap over here and do things so just sinisterly. It's disgusting.
Nefarious.
It's nefarious. It's disgusting. It's corruption. It's rigging. You are supposed to produce, this is what the 1% block has right here. This is the numbers from the computer. Count it, make sure it matches.
And that's just
the way
the 1%.
An audit is supposed to be done. That's how an audit is supposed to be done.
And it's
They're
just
trying
1%.
to do it backwards.
They can't even we can't even
Zero
have transparency with a 1%
in
audit.
LA.
Not even a 1%
Not
audit?
even 1%.
And you think your elections are fair and democratic?
And I reiterate in my article, that this is the largest county in America.
Yep.
in the 5th largest economy in the world.
Yep.
And we can't have this transparency. Like,
It's terrible.
Come on, get out of here. So I say, why was the 1% manual hand count moving forward when the machine-generated tally report was not ready? This could lead to major fraud by corrupt players if the 1% manual tally finishes and then is compared to a freshly printed and doctored machine-generated tally report. Which is what Angelica reiterates below. She speaks some real fire. So we gotta listen to this. Oh no,
it's ridiculous. What are they comparing? They're just counting paper at this point, because they're not comparing anything. They're counting paper. They're counting physical, manifestations of what people voted on the computer, right? So it's the printout, but they have no other set of data to compare it to. So what's 1% tally, manual tally, is to compare it to the computer generated results to make sure that there's no discrepancy.
Exactly.
But there is no printout of the computer generated results.
Okay, so when's the printout coming? Hold on. Elva, can I ask a quick question? Do you have a timeline for when the printout for the why not? You don't want to be transparent? All right. Okay, I understand. Is that for Mike? Okay, I'll call Mike. Thank you. So they don't have a timeline, and Elva doesn't want to go on camera to tell me that there's a timeline for when the computer-generated tally report will come out. So right now they're counting the manual tally. When the computer-generated manual tally, which is it's like instantaneous. How is it not available? How is it not available? This is delayed. November 5th. It is now the 8th. It is 3 days. Angelica, this was supposed to happen 3 days ago. It was supposed to happen on the 5th, right? That was when it was scheduled to happen, the 1% manual tally.
5th or the 6th, I do know that. Either way, here we are the 8th, and it still hasn't happened properly. Well, we need to have the printout. Where's the printout? We need the printout to compare the results. And they're just giving us the runaround. They keep on asking me, when you say compare the results, what exactly? It's like, what do you mean? What exactly do I mean? I mean comparing the computer generated results, which are the ones that you are reporting, right? That's the data that we are being given, right, at the public, matching the manual tally. That's what I mean by compare. It's like, what else could I mean by compare? They're just giving me the runaround. It's just crazy. It's like,
wow, it's disgusting.
Where are the progressives at?
Yeah.
Where are they at? Where's the outrage? Where's the roaring? Where's the upset? Where's putting your foot down and saying we want to get our progressives in there? I mean, this is like huge right over here. That woman that you're speaking to, Johnny, right? And I think our audience knows what she means and who she's running against. What that means to the security state, what that means for censorship, what that means for the military-industrial complex. Removing a establishment stooge like Tony Cardenas is so big, and she stands for all the issues that all those progressives want. Yeah. Going out there and fighting for a Green New Deal, Medicare for all, interdistrict for poor people, immigration control, all this stuff. This woman is there. Where are the people at? Why aren't they there?
And not just there, at the anti-war protest.
At the anti, she's even likes the stuff we like.
What's the point of supporting progressives in the Democratic Party if you don't even support them when they're not getting the votes, when your vote doesn't count? Exactly. It doesn't matter. Fine, prop up whoever you want to prop up, but it doesn't matter how many times you support them and all this time wasted knocking on doors and all this fucking bullshit. If at the end of the day they're going to throw away their votes, or at the very least we're not even going to have any kind of transparency. Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah, so I mean, this video, I really just wanted to show how not the lack of transparency there, right? I mean, there's just a huge lack of transparency. I mean, that our questions could be easily quelled. Oh, they could just communicate, talk to us. No, it's send an email, write a comment down.
Yeah, they don't want you to know.
Okay,
they don't want you to know. They want you shut out. Go back to work, pleb. Don't question us.
Pretty much. The answers to these questions remain murky. The ambiguity surrounding the late start, the fact that a pivotal piece of the 1% manual tally is missing from the public's viewing. And I've gone before after this time, I went yesterday and the day before that. Still can't see it. Still, turn in a paper thing. Email us, call us, and we can get back to you. Email. So
it's so cute.
It's part of the fucking 1% manual
It's so
tally.
cute.
How can I not see it?
I know. Count first, and we'll give you the numbers after, Johnny. That's just what they're telling you. How fraudulent could that be?
It's ridiculous, Pasta. It's ridiculous. And, so it's missing from the public's viewing. The publicly paid election officials avoiding the camera puts into question the fair and accessible and transparent manner that the LARCC boasts that they have. Because they don't have that. The ambiguity surrounding the state-mandated certification process does the public no favors in a time of outrageous claims of voter fraud and concerning claims of election fraud. So I'm no Trump supporter. I'm a lefty, and it's not a right-wing thing to question the elections. I'm providing evidence here of the lack of transparency.
First-hand accounts.
And fucking from candidates. From Angelica Duenas and Maria Estrada, who are candidates that won their primaries.
Who ran on the left and under the Democratic Party ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no justification for this. And the fact that people are dismissing all of election integrity just because the right has suddenly jumped into defending the elections is really, to me, a sadness in America. We should be weeping and crying, because that to me is just how far we've gone off the rails here, where we've polarized and we have made politicized an issue that is non-political. This issue is across the board. It is an American issue. It is an issue if you care about democracy, if you care about preserving any sort of semblance of it. This is what people should be talking about, not scoffing and dismissing it and saying, oh, it's just a right-wing talking point, you're a Trumper. No, you're a fucking fascist by not talking about this stuff. And that is what I'm sick of hearing. And people like Johnny are out on the ground doing this work and exposing this. This is a first-hand account. This isn't a made-up video. This isn't any sort of this is like him going there and interviewing these candidates and getting this footage and all of this, and it should be looked at.
Orange man bad. Johnny, go ahead.
So then, so that interview I did with Angelica on the 8th was shortly after I had gotten kicked out of the Norwalk office for taking a picture of the 1% manual tally room. So here's my tweet where I said I just got kicked out of the LARCC building for taking a photo. And I was just trying to show what the 1% manual tally looks like. So this is what it looks like. So let's look at it, guys. I mean, this is the first room that started, and I said that this is not transparent if I can't take a picture. The public needs to know what's going on. So let me explain to you how it works. This person in the middle reads out the ballots. These two have the sheets there. There's these long sheets. See, it's like here, right? So it's this sheet. So it has let's say it's Proposition 15. It would say Proposition 15 here at the top, and then it would say yes, no, and then didn't answer. So then they would tally. That's how they do their manual count. And so this person's doing a manual count. This person's doing a manual count. They verify each other's numbers. She's calling out what was said from the ballot. And they're supposed to compare that to the machine-generated tally report, which is not available that day on record.
Can I ask you a question, Johnny? These are part-time employees. Who should be really doing this recount? Who should be doing the recount, guys? Right? Shouldn't the citizens? Shouldn't some of the people out there who represent maybe Tony Cardenas and Angelica Duenas, people who have a stake in the game, who are going to make sure that they can be very, thorough about this? Not just workers with no souls who are just passing through. This is where the people should be a part. The people of the community should be a part of the recount.
I don't know if I agree with that, because then there's going to be bias. I think there should be people that are follow elections that are non-biased, and it should be publicized on TV, completely viewable to the public at every single turn. That's I think at the very least what we should demand.
Go ahead, Johnny.
So I wasn't allowed back for the rest of the day that day, but I was able to ask Gomez a pivotal question before my departure, and I said, do any vote-by-mail ballots come to this Norwalk office? To which she answered no. So that kind of, and then I asked her if it's possible that only the only VBM ballots that come to Norwalk are for the 1% manual tally, to which she said yes. And so these answers solidifies my suspicions of the white van that we talked about previously.
Yeah.
what are they taking over there? It's not vote by mail ballots, supposedly,
Yeah.
because Norwalk doesn't have any. I stuck around to see if any other white vans, like from the previous day, would show up, and lo and behold, we documented staff loading another white van in the back of the Norwalk office with white boxes that usually contain ballots. So I approached them, as seen below, and the worker would not respond to my questions. Am I doing something wrong? Wondering what type of ballots these are. How am I supposed to contact an official via email and ask them specifically about a van I saw being loaded up with ballots? If this is part of a process, why isn't this process in all processes outlined somewhere?
Exactly.
None of the processes are outlined anywhere.
Exactly.
So
what are they trying to hide?
Okay, so what
We'll
we
see.
did
We'll watch
instead
this
was
film.
actually stake out the back of the LARRCC Norwalk office, and here you see this guy carting a cart of white boxes that look like that's the same boxes that the ballots have been in. So we decided to drive over to where he was going to, and we see a white van. It's an LARRCC van, and he's loading up the white boxes up into the back of the van. And then we decide to do a U-turn, and here we go, coming around.
Excuse me, quick question. Are there any ballots in there? Are there any ballots? Are those ballots? You don't want to answer?
Johnny, do you believe they were ballots?
What I think they were provisional ballots.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What does the chain of custody demand when it comes to transportation of ballots? How many people?
2 people. I tried
And
looking
minimal.
for that. I tried looking for that in the California code. It might be in the Florida code, but I can't find it in the California code. Anything about transportation.
Well, I'll get some people to pull that stuff up because there's somebody I'm talking to about that talks about the chain
I was
of custody.
looking for
I
that.
believe it's supposed to be 2 people
It
at all
should
times. And
least
if those
be
are
2
ballots
people.
right there and it's one person,
Yeah, no, that's a breach.
Yep.
That's a big time breach.
Yep.
So
That's a big time breach, and some people should get on the horn and start calling because they should be outraged. What are they doing, moving shit around under the cover
And the
of,
secrecy,
and the
too.
secrecy of
Yeah.
of what's going on with no eyes on them? And what are they doing? What are they doing?
yeah, it's fair to ask these questions, right?
Absolutely.
It's public interest. That's what journalism is, asking questions in the public interest.
Yep. Johnny, anything else?
It's pretty sketchy, loading up ballots into the back of a van. I took a guess that they would go down to Downey, which is right down the road from Norwalk. And lo and behold, here they are. We see them, the white van there, and an empty parking lot
There it
in
is.
Downey, which is where they count the tally votes. So we decided to roll up. I'm rolling up. And there's another guy with the cart taking the ballots, taking the boxes, the white boxes. I don't know if there are ballots in there yet, but this is the tally facility where all the tallying happens. So I decide to go and approach, and here's what that is.
I thought you could see that there was one driver there. I think it's the next one. So yeah, they went down to the Downey facility where they do the tabulation, where all those tabulation machines are. And so here's the second part of this video.
Got to bring in those extra votes.
So you can see the van had one person in there. Hold
Yep.
on. We'll see the ballots being carted in. So they're right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, the van was backing up, and then you can see here there is
One driver.
one driver, one person there.
That's not legal according to Florida. Now, Florida has better elections than California. That's not saying much considering Debbie Wasserman
Oh
Schultz.
my God.
I tried to go in there to see the tally operation going on. He called somebody. This is a security guard. He called somebody and said that he got the response that there was nobody in the tally room, so I can't go in there.
This is a Sunday, right?
It was on a Sunday,
Guys.
But why are
going on?
ballots being picked up on a Sunday? That's what.
Yeah.
And if nobody's working, then who was that guy that just carted in the
Exactly, all the ballots. Dude, they're so scandalous. Go ahead,
who was the
Johnny.
worker carting up the white boxes? And
That's it.
So then here's my little summary. You guys can look at that. And I just wanted to tell you from my experience over those 3 days, there had been a huge lack of transparency with few questions being answered. I documented my experience for all to see and have provided evidence for all of it. The LARCC needs to be more transparent, and people need to be aware of the person in charge who is the decision maker for how transparent the election systems in LA is Dean Logan. And above Logan, Secretary of State Alex Padilla, who certifies election systems and results. And then I kind of go over Dean Logan's history there.
Oh, yeah.
And
hey, Johnny, I got some good news for you.
what's that?
That if Kamala Harris is the vice president, that I heard that Gavin Newsom's going to pick Alex Padilla to take Kamala Harris
to take a Senate seat. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, there's a lot of horses in that race. Pasta. There's a lot of horses in that race. So.
Oh my God. Oh my land.
But yeah, that's basically the story. Go check it out on Medium. I'm gonna post this link in
put it in the chat here
in the
because
chat here and in the description.